Hey everyone, and welcome to another Interstellar Modeler. This is now part 1 of my 125 scale Moebius Models Batmobile. Well, the parts have been primed now with the Tamiya light gray primer. The model comes as a blue-gray color, and so the parts are washed off, the primer has been applied. And my first step now is to go ahead and move forward with applying flat black to some of the parts here, including the interior, and parts are going to go on the underside of the car. After that, we're going to go ahead and apply gloss black to many of the parts that will need the Alclad paint. Alright, so let's go ahead and move forward. Well, it turned out that the Alclad gunmetal was just way too dark. You can see this piece is still painted with that gunmetal color. Imagine the entire body now painted that, and it really just looked pitch black, basically. Beautiful finish, though. The surface, looked great, but it just was too dark for this model. So went back online, tried to do a bit more searching, and I came across a gentleman by the name of Delon Fifield, who posted on a Facebook page that he ended up using a color by Tamiya called Rubber Black. It turns out to be a really nice dark gray color, and when you look at the reference photos of the Batmobile, that is what it is. It's a dark gray color, and you can see the paint has been applied here, and I think it's just spot on. So that was a very good recommendation, using Tamiya Rubber Black for the body, so I'd highly recommend it too. Alright, so it's time to move on. Let's go ahead and begin construction now. I'm going to start piecing some of the interior with the engine and so forth, so let's go ahead and move along with that. Okay, just to show you what I'm doing here to get rid of the seams here, I am applying this Tenex adhesive here, which helps to melt the plastic together, and so I'm applying some strips of styrene there which will melt into the plastic, and then we're going to use a file to sand that away. So it'll help us hide the seam a little more effectively, and I'm just going to give it some time to dry, and then I'll sand it together. Okay, and you can see the technique was pretty effective at covering the seams. I've also added now the exhaust assembly on top and the engine from behind there. The transaxle section as well as the exhaust assembly were painted with Tester's burnt metal and the engine with Tester's steel. And you can tell I've also added a little bit of a wash there, and I plan to do a bit more, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to the interior of the Batmobile for now. Okay, I'm referring back to now Delon Fifield's post on Facebook, and he posted a picture of the actual interior, and you can see there's a lot of detailing that's missing in our model kit. First of which is this detailing along the back, and what he did was he created a template out of paper and then fashioned some screen material to fit along there, and then he used some styrene plastic and he cut out the pattern that will fit behind the seats there, and that's what I'm in the process of doing here. So again, using a paper template, cutting out some styrene, and now we're going to cut these shapes out. So in anticipation of this, I went to the dollar store and bought a T-strainer, and that's what I'm using as the screen that's going to go behind our piece here. So I cut it out of the T-strainer, and you can see it's going to fit behind our piece just like that. And I just traced the pattern out, and there you go. Okay, so that's how the piece is looking inside the cockpit area. I think it looks pretty good. I painted it silver. I know it looks white in this light, but yeah, I think it's looking alright. Okay, so we need to make a roll bar that goes around this structure here. So what I'm doing is taking a piece of styrene plastic and just marking off the places that need to be bent, and using just a candle here, you see in the background, just to heat up the plastic and create the bend that we need. So pretty much done here, ready to cut this piece off, and then we have the back end of our roll bar. And here we have it. So now we have to create the rest of the bar that's going to connect from here down to the dashboard. Okay, here we now have the center roll bar. Let me just go ahead and take this piece off here. And all I did was I attached it to the center here and just kind of estimated where to bend just based on the shape of this, and just little by little I just made sure I put enough bend so that it would fit inside here, and then we're going to hook it into this section right there. So again, you can see that it closes down and fits right in. Alright, you can see the roll bar is almost completed. We've been able to add this handle as well as this cylindrical piece. I painted them first because it was easier to put it together this way and have it painted. So I have now to paint this area here, and then we'll be done. So it's a lot of fun to scratch build these things, at least I find it to be so, and you can see it doesn't take much to do that. You just have to get a hold of some plastic styrene rods. You get them from Evergreen scale models, and you know, with a little bit of heat and you know, just snipping here and there, we're able to construct this piece that didn't come with the kit. Alright, so none of this is glued together, so it's just sitting here, but you can see the roll bar now and the completed back piece. I added this center ring here. I just got that out of my parts drawer, and these pipes here are just insulated wire like this, so I just cut some pieces there and glued them into place. Okay guys, I wanted to show you how I'm working out the lighting here. So this is of course the dashboard, and what I did was I drilled out all the openings here, and the smaller ones were done with a pin vise. The other ones I just took a drill bit from a Dremel and just did it by hand so that it wouldn't melt the plastic. And then what I did here with the square ones is I used a pin vise to open it up, and then just carefully used a file to get the square or at least the straight edges. Alright, so now that those are open, the second thing I did was I just took some clear styrene plastic and cut some pieces to fit behind each of the screens. I frosted it by sanding it with a fine sandpaper, and then I used Tamiya's clear colors, the blue, red, and yellow there, to paint the clear styrene. And that's how you get this here. And now, to light the dashboard, what I did first of all was I put a brace here. Just this is, again, a square piece of styrene plastic. These are available by Evergreen. And this is another piece of styrene I cut to fit right behind the screens there. And then I glued on some of these chip SMD lights from modeltrainsoftware.com, and they're wired up to a coin-size battery because this does not need to be really, really bright, and it does a very decent job at lighting the dashboard up. So the wires are going to be run through the base of the model here, and then the power sources, or at least the wires are going to connect to a power source here underneath the car. Now, I really wasn't sure about lighting this kit because I didn't want it to be tied down to a particular base. So the way I'm going to solve that issue is that I'm going to have the connectors out here, and then when I want the model displayed on my shelf, it's just going to, you know, sit there with the connections underneath the car. However, if I want to light the model or display it at a model show, I'm going to create a base that's going to have a hole in the center with a cover that's going to be magnetically attached, and I'll be able to run the wires and the connectors through and connect the batteries underneath the stand. So I'll show you more details about that as we get closer to that, but that's the plan for now. Alright, so let me go ahead and finish gluing this together, and then I'll show you how it all looks. Okay guys, just a quick light test just to show you that the chip size SMDs are doing a good job at lighting up the dashboard. Looks a bit washed out here on camera. As always, you know, the video camera just tends to do that, but you can distinguish the blues and the reds if you were to look at this in person. Alright guys, well I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. I don't want it to be too long. I'm going to go ahead and pick up then in part 2 as we continue on with our Batmobile build. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me as always on my YouTube channel here or at interstellarmodeler@gmail.com. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in part 2.